All right guys, today we are here with the Genesis GV70. Now, this is the 2.2 litre diesel in the Luxe Sportline package. So basically it has the luxury pack and the sports line pack, which means that this has got every available feature possible. And it's the second from the top in terms of model specs. The only model above this is the 3.5 litre turbo version, which is the bigger of the engines. Having said that, this is still a fantastic vehicle. So, as you can see, styling is very aggressive. From a Genesis point, their styling has been on point since launching in the Australian market as a standalone brand last year. It follows on the twin headlight design on both sides that the GV80 and the G80 initially rolled out with. And it's become a signature of Genesis and it looks absolutely fantastic. So let us show you through the car. Let us show you through what we think is really good about this car, but also a few points that need a little bit of refinement, but overall we've done about 3,000 Ks in this car, so we're actually pretty excited to share with you some pretty cool things we found out about living with this car. All right, starting with the all-important engine. It's a 2.2 litre turbo diesel. It's good for 154 kilowatts of power and 440 Newton meters of torque. The car weighs just under 2,000 kilos, so at 1,995. So plenty of get up and go for a car of its weight. It's not overly heavy either, and it's pretty dynamic on the road in terms of handling. The one thing we will note is that under acceleration, you do hear the engine inside more than what you would compared to some of its Euro competitors and some of its more established Japanese luxury rivals. So that's just one small thing that we think over time Genesis will improve, but for a first go, this car is fantastic. Fuel consumption I want to make a note of. So Genesis rates this at about the mid sixes per 100 kilometers. That should give you a theoretical range of about 858 Ks. Most cars we've tested in the market so far don't get anywhere near what their manufacturer rated fuel consumption is. So why are we bothering to talk about the fuel consumption figures and range outside of just the factory quoted figures? Well, on the 3,500 Ks that we've driven, this car has actually exceeded what the manufacturer has told us we will be able to get. What is a little bit unusual about this is usually every other car review that we've done, we've not managed to get close to what the car manufacturer has said. So usually if a car manufacturer tells us it's going to be 500 Ks, we normally end up getting about 400, maybe 350 or 450 at the best. But with Genesis, we've actually managed to hit bang on 800 to 850 each time. And that's still been with about 30 to 40 Ks worth of range left before needing to physically fill up with having zero range left. So very good job from Genesis on this. If you get one, your fuel consumption is going to be phenomenal on the diesel models. The petrol models are the opposite, so we can't talk too much about that. We have had the time to compare the 2.5 litre turbo petrol versus the 2.2 litre diesel. I personally think the diesel is the better option, or alternatively go for the big bad boy at 3.5 litre turbo petrol. From an external point, Genesis has gone to all lengths to make sure that this car pops and is instantly recognizable as a Genesis, although sometimes really, really close in design and appearance to some other very premium English brands. However, we won't name them for this review. The badge is pretty prominent. One of the cool things is the headlight and grille design actually flows on, so it almost looks like the badge if you stand back and you have a good, nice look. The grille is actually kind of cool. It's not too cluttered that it's going to be super hard to clean. We've had to clean bugs and everything out of it for some of the longer drives that we've done during this review, and we've been pretty satisfied that it's super easy to clean. The headlights, they are phenomenal. They're a matrix headlight. They have 1,000,001 different little LEDs. And basically the way it works is that it throws out a curtain of light in a box shape. And as a car comes into a certain pocket of that box, it will start shutting down the LEDs that specifically fire into that section under high beam, so that you can have your high beams around that car without blinding the car that's in the way. So then that way you retain full vision, particularly handy on dark country roads as well. So really great feature, and can't wait to see that make its way across the rest of the industry's lineup of cars, not just Genesis and the top model Euro Prestige cars. The daytime running lights will fire up a close-up shot of those for you in a second, but they are a dual daytime running light. They run directly across here and they look phenomenal. It is a signature design for the Genesis series, and we think it's one that's definitely worth observing and just looks absolutely stunning. Talking more about the front, you do have a 360-degree camera in this top spec. So the camera sits here. You have 2 cameras on the mirrors and 1 camera on the rear. It does have parking sensors at the front as well, and parking sensors in the rear. So you're not going to go without any additional driver assistance in being able to actually help you park. The one thing that I want to note, I've seen a few of these GV70s now, probably about 4. It is a little bit of an unusual design. There is a bit of an overhang for the front bonnet, and the side kind of almost looks like it's not fitted correctly. However, I think it's just maybe a styling design. I'm happy for Genesis to correct me, or anyone out there that might know. However, for the moment, I think it's just the one thing that kind of lets it down from the front, is that it kind of looks like it's not closed properly from a bonnet perspective. Some people will notice it, but everyone that's been around this car so far has pointed it out to us, and we obviously are aware of it as well. All right, so moving along to the side, guys, the Genesis GV70 has a beautiful silhouette and styling design. The lines follow the whole way down to the side, so it gives it a really aggressive presence. And from a keyless entry and keyless exit point, all you have to do is just swipe that, it locks it up, or as you walk up to it, you can put your hand in there and open the door. One of the other cool features with this car, which really only works in a handy straight and reverse manner, but you can remote start it to cool it and heat it during the Australian summer months. But if you also want to move it forwards, maybe someone's parked you in a little bit close, you can also move this with the remote control on the car. So you have a remote control car in your pocket. It's a pretty cool little feature. It doesn't go left or right, so it really just needs to be a straight backwards and forwards. And as you can see, it's going back. All right, so moving along into the inside of the Genesis, the GV70 is decked out with all the luxury that you could possibly have, which is the exact same for every other Genesis model out on the market currently. And Genesis has done a fantastic job at actually putting in real materials into this car. So starting from the inside, this is real leather that's at the top, and it's soft touch, it's stitched, it's nice. It has this kind of little highlight on the trim here that flows through to the dash design. All of these panels, they're actual real metal, and they have a lighting system inside here as well. So the ambient lighting can be changed. There's a number of different colors and options to suit the outside of your car, or just your own personal preference of colors. So that's been a really cool highlight. Obviously all your power window controls and switches and everything are all directly in here. You do have space for a bottle. Probably wouldn't push it past a 600 ml bottle. That's really all it's sized for. Lexicon audio system by Harman Kardon. It is a premium sound system. We'll go through that in a second. And certainly from a use of materials, every section that you would be touching up the top is certainly a soft touch material. So they've done a really good job from that position as well. The car is fitted with memory seats for two drivers. So husband and wife, for example, can have 2 different presets for the seating positions, which is really handy. And we'll go through the rest in a second. Moving into the interior, guys, the GV70 is absolutely schmick. This is all soft touch and padded as you would expect for a car of $97,000, give or take, depending on the state that you're in. 2 cup holders. You do have this little section here. This is actually for the wireless charging. So you grab your phone, slide it in, off it goes. There is a fast charge USB as well as a standard USB in that section. The one thing to note is while it has wireless charging for a phone, For the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it does actually need the USB because this car has a navigation system built in standard. A little bit disappointing based on the class of car and the pricing that you don't get wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. However, it's a wired connection, and to be honest, it hasn't really bothered us too much, but I know that some people out there looking at this type of car in this segment will definitely be looking for the wireless CarPlay functionality, as we do get that comment on a few other videos. So that's one thing to note. You've got your dual zone climate control, air conditioning switches, everything all in the car, as well as the rear climate control. The front passenger and driver get heated and ventilated seats. The rear passengers get heated seats, and the driver is actually quite lucky, and the driver gets a massage function. So you can have stretching on the bottom of the seat or on the back of the seat or on the bottom and the back. So you can have a full body stretch while you're driving, keep yourself fresh, comfortable, and reduce the fatigue. As you can see, the leather flows all along on the dash, top, bottom, middle. So there's leather absolutely everywhere. You do have a massive 14.5-inch color touch display that will do your Android Auto, your Apple CarPlay. It does a whole bunch of other cool features, including your camera system. And you have a full digital display that's a 3D model directly in front of you and the driver. Now that is on the luxury Sportline edition. Other models, they are available as a option, so some models will have it and some models won't, so we'll cover that in other reviews when we review those models. And obviously a push button start, as you would expect for a car in this price point. Steering wheel is adjusted via electronic adjustment on this knob on the side, and it can go tilt, and it can also go reach backwards and forwards as well. There's a multitude of convenience settings that you can program into the driver customization screen. Basically what it allows you to do is, if you want to be able to get in and out of the car with easy access, you can open the door and it will allow the seat to automatically go backwards and the steering wheel to automatically go forwards and up, so that way you can get maximum access to get in and out. Likewise with the passenger seat, you can do exactly the same, and it has a nifty function where you can actually move the passenger seat backwards and forwards based on a switch on the side for convenience for the front and the rear passengers if you need to make a little bit more space in here. You do get a massive panoramic roof as standard in this model as well, and outside of that, a heads-up display that directly shows you in front. One cool feature with this as well before we go is the radar cruise control, or active cruise control. It has a unique function on this model that will allow you to actually see what speed the car in front of you is doing. It will adjust to that, but then once you go into a new speed zone, say it drops from 100 to 80 k's an hour, the car will notify you that the speed limit has changed once it reads the sign, and it will allow you to press down once on the cruise control activation screen, and it will automatically go down to say 80 if it's dropped from 100, without you having to turn it off, slow down and then go. It will automatically do it for you. Once it goes up to a different speed limit to say 100, you just flick it up and it will take it back to 100 kilometers an hour. So it's a pretty nice convenience feature. It's not a kind of out of this world feature, but it's really good. So, but let us show you the back. Okay, moving into the rear of the car, guys. This is one feature that every parent is going to love, or if you're not a parent like myself, you are going to love it in terms of keeping a little bit more sunlight out of the back of the car and a few of the nosy eyes out of the back of the car as well. So it has built-in blinds that you just clip up, and you can have the window down so that you can have a bit of air but not have everything coming into the face of a child. But definitely from a sunlight onto a baby's face, if you've got a kid in the back, you're going to be pretty good with it. So it's a great little feature and inclusion from Genesis on that. In terms of quality of the fit out, the rest is just as good as the front. So premium quality materials in the doors that are soft touch the whole way down. You have your ISOFIX points in the rear, so you do have two, one on each of the outer sides. As mentioned, you have heated seats in the rear for the passengers. But let me show you what the legroom looks like and a couple of other features on the inside of the back. In terms of the rear space, guys, it's a nice little place to be really in the back. A lot of the sloping roof lines in a lot of modern cars at the moment mean that you have to crouch your head down. I'll show you in a sec, but this isn't an issue in the GV70. I am sitting a little bit more forward just to make sure you can see my face in the video, and to point this out as well. So being that this car is aimed at professionals as well as parents, there are little hooks on both sides of the car. These are for jackets or just to hang anything that doesn't belong on a back seat where it might get creased. So if you're wondering what those are, that's what they're for. There is a nice suede material as well that's used on the B pillar here, as well as on the roof lining, rather than a traditional fabric roof lining and the plastic that comes up here, which is a nice little handy feature as well, because it makes it feel just that little bit more premium, which is really on point. Now, say for example, you were getting in the back, but someone had left the seat the whole way back. There is a button on the right-hand side of the front seat that allows you to push all the way forward, but comfortably to have this seat back. I'm 5'10". If I sit back now, I still have some pretty decent leg room and knee room on this seat, with the seat being further back than it's probably ever going to be with anyone that's going to sit in the front. So legroom check for a mid-size SUV, still pretty good. It's not as spacious as a GV80, for example, but it's also not a 7-seater. So it's still very, very good for what it's intended to be. There are 2 fast charge USB ports in the rear, and you also have your air conditioning controls and heated seat controls in the center here. All right, now coming up to the back, beautiful design. And one really neat feature with this car, if you've got your hands full and you're trying to get stuff into the back, you don't even need to be near the car, you don't even need to be near your key. As long as it's in your pocket, all you need to do is stand here, it will beep 3 times and it will open the tailgate. Now you can cancel that out so it doesn't do it, but it's super handy to be able to do this as well. As you can see, there's plenty of load space here. If you have a bigger stroller, it's probably going to be just on the limits of what this car can have. In terms of a dual stroller, probably pushing it, but you still have plenty of space for suitcases, baggage, any kind of shopping or anything like that, if you're not putting any strollers in at the moment. It does have a nice little carpeted area underneath, and this carpet on top as well. And as always, this is height adjustable, so what we can do is we can start lowering it down, we can stop it here, and we can push and hold the button 3 times. It will beep, and that's now set it at this height. So if your garage is a little bit low in terms of the ceiling clearance, you'll definitely have the opportunity to program this to be at the height that you need it to, so that you're not knocking the top of this and hitting it into any objects. To reset it, all you do is push it back up to the full height, push and hold until that beeps, and you're good to go. Finally, in the rear, you can fold the seats down in a 60-40 split. However, for most of the times, if you're going to have passengers in the rear, seats up are pretty good and you've got plenty of space in here. The quick release latches are on the back of the in the back cargo section if you want to drop them quickly. But outside of that, guys, this is a really fantastic car for the price point. Genesis has hit the nail on the head when it comes to quality and design for the money that they're asking. This comes in less than a base model Porsche Macan, as an example. Yes, it's a Porsche, but at the same time, if you're wanting that kind of appearance in a second-hand car, this is going to give you a ton of value for money for less. They do start from about mid-60s all the way up, depending on the fit-out level that you get with the car. So it's a very affordable luxury car with premium features. They're heavily spec'd regardless of which entry-level point or top model you go for. Also, it's worth noting that the Genesis comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty, which is superior to most of the premium manufacturers out there in their warranties. So a lot of the Euros, for example, have kilometer limits or have a shorter warranty. So you have the knowledge of a great dealer network around the country, but also a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty should something need attention. From a servicing perspective, it is 12 months or 10,000 Ks for the service intervals. And with this particular model being a 21-inch size wheel, It doesn't have a full-size spare wheel, so that's just one thing to be mindful if you do intend to use it on country roads. It does have a tire inflation kit, however it doesn't have a full-size spare wheel. So maybe it might be worthwhile looking at some of the models with a different wheel size, purely just for availability in regional areas, or take your own spare because there is plenty of space in the back. Outside of that, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We can keep bringing you a number of different reviews over 2022 so that you have all the latest information on new cars that are coming, as well as existing cars that are already on the market. If you have any requests for any particular cars that you'd like to have reviewed, let us know. And if you have any questions or comments regarding the GV70 or this video, we'd love your feedback, so definitely leave a comment in the comment section. Outside of that, guys, enjoy your day, enjoy your week, whatever you're at, and wait for the next review that we'll post up.